Hello there, guys, and welcome back to our channel. First match preview of the new season, and I'm very, very excited because finally Chelsea's back. The summer is over. I mean, the Euros was great, but the month since then was absolutely awful, right? So finally, we have some football back that we can actually watch, enjoy, and talk about, and not just some stupid friendlies. So I'm like, should I be annoyed that we drew 2-2 to Tottenham, or should I not? I don't know. So I'm very excited because, there's a lot of things to talk about. Of course, Lukaku is on the agenda because Messi happened, so we still haven't announced it. We will discuss all of that. We will discuss Villarreal, of course, our opponent in tomorrow's Super Cup. That's why we have Mr. Euro Expert, obviously, on the channel because, he's called Euro Expert. So obviously, we just have to know about Villarreal.
Obviously, we're talking more about Villareal than either of us do. That's for sure.
Exactly. There you go. Obviously, what potential lineup we could be going with, touch on a couple of things that Thomas Tuchel said in the pre-match press conference. But yeah, there'll be a lot of things to get through. Let me just bring this up. Pys is also meant to be here. He will turn up eventually. But currently he's having internet problems. So hopefully that will be fixed soon and then he will join us. But yeah, we have a lot of things to discuss. Of course, I already mentioned him, Mr. Alex, Mr. Euro Expert. First of all, thank you for joining us. And second of all, how are you doing? How was your summer? And yeah, you excited?
Yeah, it's great. I'm excited to be back on. It's been such a while. The last time I came on, I think I was previewing Real Madrid, and I said I think Chelsea could go and win the UCL. That aged well. But yeah, it's great to be back. I've had a good summer. I'm raring to go.
There you go.
Any excuse to drop it out. I'm being shameless for the next 9 months. I've already said any excuse is coming out.
Hey, you never know. Maybe we'll win it back to back, and you can be shameless for another than 12 months.
Please. We can only dream. The only thing is I can't go to the final because it's in Zenit St. Petersburg, but here's what it is.
What do you mean you can't go?
I don't back myself in Russia. I'm good. I'll do streams. I'll be fine. I've seen number 2. You guys go experience number 3.
Man, you got to look at that way. You're going to be so big by the time we're in the Champions League final in like 9 months. You just can't hire, security, and you're fine.
You arrive like Messi did in
I'll
Paris.
get Ben on one side and Wayne on the other, and we'll be good.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, well.
What do you want?
Maybe Zenit then. Maybe. I'm like 30% convinced now.
Exactly. And of course, if we're chatting already, but Lewis, my brother in crime, is that the word? Partner in crime.
Yeah.
Brother in crime. But
either goes in there. I don't care too much. But yeah, big up. Great to be on here again, man. Lukaku.
Exactly. How are you feeling about everything at the moment? Obviously, game tomorrow, but Lukaku still not announced. How are you feeling?
Low-key, I feel like that game tomorrow is going to be a lot like last season, where we just struggle to. We make a lot of chances, but we struggle to put the ball in the net. I don't want to speak into existence, but Werner probably misses a few big chances. Maybe we score, maybe we don't. Just at least it won't be like the Tottenham game where we drag half of the lone army out just to stink up the pitch for 30 minutes. But I don't know. If we win the game, it's based on how good of a game Kai Havertz has, in my opinion. Because, no, Ziyech as well, to be honest. Because I know Werner's going to have a good game. My only question is, will he finish? And I won't know until I see Werner on the pitch. But we're going to face a low block, and we know how that usually goes. So the game's going to be very dependent to me on Kai Havertz and how he plays, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm just excited for football to be back. Now we've got 9 months of absolute chaos, and I'm all here for it because we're going through that chaos as European champions.
Hey, that's exactly the hype I want to hear. And some more hype because Mr. CFCPys has managed to fix his internet and has joined the party. First of all, Pys, thank you for coming. Second of all, how are you feeling, my man?
Yeah, sorry about that. It was a bit of a nightmare with the whole B2 thing, but yeah, I'm good to be on with you guys. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I must admit, I'm confident, which sometimes isn't the best thing. I'll have to say that. Usually I'm kind of, usually when I'm negative, we win, and when I'm confident, we lose. So I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, no, I mean, I absolutely hear it. You'd think Villarreal, they finished seventh in La Liga. We'll get to Alex in a minute to help us through in a little bit more. As far as I'm aware, their preseason wasn't exactly amazing. So we should win. We're obviously clear favourites, but it's probably our easiest Super Cup we've ever played in terms of opposition. Atletico back then, sure, we won the Champions League, they won the Europa League, but Atletico was a team and a bloody half then. Radamel Falcao in his very prime scoring a hat-trick against us back then. Obviously, Liverpool a couple of years ago, and Bayern Munich, I mean, we only won the Europa League, and they were the champions of Europe, I suppose, with the Champions League. So we were always kind of on the back foot in the last 2 times, but now we really should be getting this. But before I want to, dive into all of that, into what lineup Chelsea could go with, into Romelu Lukaku, into maybe a little bit of Tammy Abraham as well, which Thomas Tuchel touched upon. Why don't we start with Villarreal? Before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. Smash the like button. I told you before, the YouTube algorithm loves likes, so please hit the like button. It means a lot. Helps us out drastically. So please just hit that like button. It's just one simple click of a button. Doesn't cost you any money, barely cost you any time. And also, let me know in the chat, how you doing? Are you excited for the game? Are you excited? Put it in the chat. I need to see some people talking. Come on, guys. Go on then. But Alex, inform us about Villarreal. Was I correct in what I've said so far? Obviously, they finished 7th last season. Their pre-season wasn't exactly amazing in terms of results. And obviously, one of their star players, Pau Torres, wasn't he at the Olympics as well? Shouldn't he be absolutely shattered?
Yeah, Pau Torres should be completely out for this game. And you're spot on. You're spot on. Pies is spot on too. Villarreal, I'm going to be... Last season, when I was talking about European fixtures, I don't think I got a single result wrong, except Man United and Arsenal against this team. Because on paper, Villarreal are poor. And in reality, they're not that great either. I mean, we'll get into their highlights because there is one man. But as a team, they average about 55% of the ball. Like, they're not very ball heavy. They're okay with it. They're quite vertical, but they're not too inventive, I'd say. They're the worst team in La Liga last season for tackle success rate. So they're not too good, actually, 1v1 with the players. And their player quality as well, much like La Liga, actually, over the past 2 seasons, their players have gotten older, less exciting, and just a bit more happy to do a job, and doing the job under Unai Emery, the man in charge, who...
We have a great record in European finals against, so,
And I think... to be honest, I'll come around. Instead of stuttering about it, it would be shocking if Chelsea lose this to me, because a lot of Villarreal's squad is out. Even if Chelsea haven't got all their best players in, Villarreal's team last season, what made it interesting and good is just Emery came with a plan, and his players followed it to a T, and they're very devoted. I mean, that's not just words as well. They're one new signing who I do really like, Boulaye Dia from France. He came in, and in his first interview, he said, "I don't care what game it is, my first competitive game, I will treat it like a cup final." So that's kind of the attitude they're invoking here. But there's another
quite
man.
literally is a cup final, so
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but I think another thing as well, just for like that's a game where Wesley Fofana just got completely injured until 2022. And I even mentioned it in my notes from last season. They're quite a scrappy team, and but there is one highlight we'll get into, I'm sure.
If you had to compare them to any side from England, I know this is an outrageous question to ask you, but just thought put you on the spot, see what you say. So if you say something wrong, people will slate you. Who would you compare them to?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's not a team that we've actually seen yet, but it's one that I think we will see. They're reminding me of what I expect of Rafa Benitez's Everton. That's what I expect of them. Just a team that's there to do the job, not anything exciting. They're going to follow a lot of tactical instructions, but not even then, they're not going to do it to the highest level.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, it's a tough one to call because obviously, like we just said, pre-season, their league campaign last season wasn't particularly brilliant. But then they still knocked out Arsenal and Manchester United. Sure, we can take the piss out of Arsenal and Manchester United. Manchester United finished ahead of us in the league. Well, yeah, but still, like, they got results against these teams. And, if there was a type of team that Chelsea struggled against under Tuchel last season, it wasn't the big guns, the Real Madrids, the Man Cities, the bigger clubs. We didn't struggle against those. We beat a lot of them. But who we struggle against is the teams that turned up with a low block and a good defensive plan and structure. And from the sound of things, that's what Villarreal are going to turn up with tomorrow. So that's why I don't think it will be that easy. I do still think we'll win. We'll get to score predictions and stuff a little bit later. But I do think we'll win. But it's kind of what we tend to usually struggle with the most and what we kind of mainly are signing Romelu Lukaku for, but unfortunately he's not here yet to fix that problem tomorrow night.
Well, we still have till midnight to register him, to be honest. Chelsea need to get this fucking announcement through and we could get him across the line in time. Just bring him off the bench for the last 20 minutes. That's all I ask.
I mean, but he won't even have had a single training session. Like, you can't do that.
I mean, he's been training with Inter.
Yeah, but he doesn't know our players.
I know. That's why I say bring him off the bench. He sees how the phase the game is going. He'll have some basic instructions when he comes onto the field. And get a little taste of what Romelu's got. And then he'll score the winner.
Outrageous. In my opinion, it'd be outrageous, but I'm here for it, man.
Well, here for it. You guys say that. I think even if Lukaku started, he wouldn't be the best player on the pitch. No Chelsea player would be. The best player who looks likely to start tomorrow is Gerard Moreno. Because this man, I think...
Waffle.
No, it's not. No, I mean, not only, we'll go into like what you see of him on the pitch, but in terms of stats and things, I mean, last season he scored 30 goals in all competitions and got about 7 assists. And in terms of like finishing and creating, he was doing better than Harry Kane last season, who had one of the best seasons he's had in his career. Moreno is a spectacular player. He plays up front. If anyone doesn't know as well, I should explain better. Villareal play like a 4-4-2 system under Emery. It does have a bit of fluidity, can shift in and out, but generally Moreno is one of the striking partners to who either be, I think tomorrow got next to me, it might be Boulaïdia or a younger player called Nino. But yeah, Moreno is the one who really is, to me, is the one to watch out for. I don't think he did it against United and Arsenal to what people expected, but on paper he's the most talented player. You know, maybe it's a bit outrageous to say he's more talented than Lukaku, but it was just a nice intro to bring his name in.
I get what you're saying. Hey, you have to start a pot. Go on, Lou.
Yeah, I was going to say he was going to be the best player on the pitch. I just see him to be effective. Do the job that we ask of him, and then that'll be enough for us to get the win. Because he just needs to bag goals. I wouldn't say best player on the pitch. I don't think he would be the best player on the pitch, but I think that would be, if it was for Chelsea, it'd be Kai Havertz.
Well, you can also make a case for, I don't know, N'Golo Kante, but each
Kante's going to be back in time too. Always forget about N'Golo, but yeah, he'll probably be up there as well. If he plays anyway like he did in the Spurs friendly, definitely, because he looks like he hasn't even had a rest in postseason. He's come back, he's just completely the same player.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, I get what Alex is doing with Moreno. Obviously, his Euros was rather underwhelming, at least in my opinion. It didn't really start much, and when he did, it was kind of awful. In my opinion, maybe Alex disagrees, but I mean, Spain was a really weird team in the Euros. They were like kind of good, but kind of really bad, and managed to do both.
They were so frustrating. I had them on a sweepstake. Do you know how hard it was having to rep Spain? They were the most... How many penalties they get, and they just miss every single one of them. And I saw them go to penalties against Italy. Like, yeah, you lot ain't making it past this. I see Morata coming up for their 4th penalties. Like, you put him in your first 5. Good luck. He's missed his last 3. Now, what do you do? He made it 4. Can't be honest.
Morata makes more sense than Bukayo Saka, though, so, swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, fair enough. If anything, that one makes
sense. And then Jorginho missed in the final, but I still back it. Jorginho just missed so he wouldn't get booed all over England for the rest of the season, because it's now not his fault.
I really wanted him to score that. I really did, because we would have celebrated and taken the piss because he's been mocked for so long. I needed that redemption arc, but we kind of got it, kind of.
Yeah. But bro, I was watching it in a pub with a couple of Irish friends, but also an English mate, and obviously he didn't actually realize that I genuinely wanted Italy to win before the game. He just thought I took the piss out of him all the time. But no, I actually wanted Italy to win. My surname's literally Italian. Do you not know me, mate? Anyway,
well, I was in the pub. I was in the We Are Tottenham TV stream I was doing a watch along for most of the match, and I'm just sitting there like, I'm the only one that's probably neutral here. Everyone else is going crazy through the whole game. I'm just thinking, England winning would be lit because the parties would be amazing. If they lose, I'm gonna be real. I'm just gonna have a spliff and go to bed. I'm not really gonna do much past that. I'm not gonna be that hurt by it. I am club over country, and I'll stand by that because, I mean, you all saw the shit that happened after the Euros final. That's my vindication. That's me saying, I told you this is why I'm neutral. So I don't want to hear it.
Hey, I get that. Well, even my night that night was a bit weird because obviously it was a Sunday night. So by the time we left the pub, it was like 2 a.m. Took us ages we didn't find a cab, so we had to call a cab. Then we had to wait forever for this cab. We get home. I was at the time house and dog sitting because my family was on holiday. I turn up. my dogs shat all over the floor. So the next hour, I spent just fucking cleaning the floor. And like, I was still okay, but my mate was absolutely hammered. So he was completely drunk trying to help me wipe the floor. It was all right, miss.
Oh, well, yeah, actually,
anyway.
I thought we would have just like got knocked out or some shit, but fair play to him.
Hey, exactly. Hey, I was that as well because he hadn't eaten, right? So we wanted to get food, but my town.
Man got drunk and he hadn't eaten. That's he did it to himself.
Yeah, it was amateur. Especially we was at the pub. They served food, but for some reason he just didn't eat. I don't know what he was doing. Any which way. Let's bring the conversation more back to the game tomorrow. Vice, any thoughts you have on what Alex said, but also in general on Villarreal?
Yeah, I mean, Moreno's a decent player. I don't think he's like as amazing as Alex hypes him up to be, but I know he did score a lot of goals last season. But yeah, for me in general, Villarreal are just a really, really boring team, to be honest. Like, they're very bog standard, well drilled. You know, two up top. I think the main player that I'd watch out for, I don't even know if he's going to play, but it's the right mid, the Chukwueze, I think his name is. He's really
I never know how to pronounce his name either, so you know you're good there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite scared if he goes up against Alonso, to be honest. But apart from that, I'm quite confident on the game, to be fair.
Oh, I just totally forgot about the fact that Alonso will start tomorrow. That's so depressing. Anyway, we'll get to that later. Yeah, it's a weird one because Emery. Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but not at PSG, not even at Arsenal. He wasn't exactly known for being like this defensive mastermind and also like generally his teams being particularly defensive. But now with Villarreal, that seems to, well, obviously he has to do that to some extent against the bigger sides because he just can't match them, you know, 1-for-1 in terms of quality. But they play like that against most teams, even if the opposition isn't, say, Arsenal, Manchester United, Barcelona, Real Madrid. Even if they're slightly less opposition, they're not exactly like Alex said, you know, the team that has loads of the ball and, you know, plays tiki-taka football and whatever else. So it's interesting that, you know, Emery, I'm not sure whether he's changed his own style or whether it's just adapting to what he's got, but I don't think it will be that easy. I don't think it will be that pretty of a game, if I'm being totally honest with you, because unfortunately, none of our preseason games have prepared us for this type of opponent at all. Because Arsenal and Tottenham decided to be absolutely ludicrous and play a high line. So we had like 15 million counterattacks. Didn't score barely any of them. That was the annoying thing. But we won't have barely any counterattacks against Villarreal tomorrow, I don't think. So we haven't really been that well prepared for a team that plays like that. Even when we played Bournemouth, they weren't like super parking the bus, which probably Villarreal will do tomorrow. But I don't know. How do you see the game going, though? It's obviously they will sit back. But in general, like, are they a serious threat or is it all just about us and we just need to turn up and then we should get the dub here?
It's about us. If we take our chances, it's nothing.
Yeah.
If we don't, if Werner has a similar game to the Tottenham match, if we miss a lot of chances, well, we start to get frustrated as well. Also, if the options on the bench aren't really the best either, I could see the game becoming very long for us. If we take our chances, it's nothing. Villarreal get battered and we win the Super Cup. But this game has a very similar touch to the games you said that we struggled in last season. That's why I'm like cautiously optimistic of it. Because in those sorts of games, we always could win. We always could beat them. But we never took our chances. And because Lukaku isn't playing, I ain't so sure about our conversion rate in this game. I have to see it first. So we'll go there. We'll dominate possession. It'll be really hard to break down ourselves. But will we finish our chances? We'll have to see. This has to be the big season for Timo Werner and the others.
Yeah, I suppose it does. I mean, Alex, do you agree with our consensus here that it will be a case of we will have the ball, they will park the bus, we will need to break them down and make sure they don't hit us on a break? Is that what it's going to be? And if we take our chances, we'll be fine?
Slightly, yeah. Villarreal, I mean, Pius obviously summed it up perfectly. They are, as the guys in the comments as well saying, they are a boring team. It's the best way to describe them. You know, do my best to hype up their players. But anyway, it won't just be as simple as like a Burnley. They're not. When you think of like teams sitting back and parking the bus, you guys probably think of like some of Chelsea's greatest performances, where like on the edge of their own goal line, on the edge of their own box. Villarreal are a bit more. They're a bit different than that. They will push a bit higher up, not like a high line like an Arsenal and Tottenham in pre-season, but they will get at Chelsea still. Like they're not going to given
terms of pressing, you mean, or just playing a slightly higher line than super deep?
A bit of both. I mean, the pressing, I think, looking at the league, they're quite high for that system. But even against Arsenal and Man United, I mean, what turned the game against Arsenal when they won 2-1 and they almost lost it is because they were pushing Arsenal quite high. And then they dropped back, which Arsenal fans will say that's what Emery did. And when they dropped back, that's when things came underneath. There's a point I wanted to mention as well. You guys were worried about Chelsea being clinical. An interesting point is their goalkeeper, Sergio Asensio. He's one of the worst goalkeepers in La Liga, factually. Last season by post-shot expected goals, he underperformed by 3. For anyone who doesn't know, basically, Asensio let in 3 more goals than the average keeper would be expected to, the shots he faced. So they haven't really got a good goalkeeper. As I said, defensively, none of their players are very good in the 1v1. It's really about their system and just kind of denying chances. I was actually looking as well at the games they played in the Europa League last season. Like, to further their player quality, it really is about the system. I mean, they played Salzburg, Kiev, Dinamo Zagreb, Arsenal, and United on the way to the final outside of the group stages, and they didn't beat any of those teams by more than 2 goals. But they did keep a lot of clean sheets. So it is a lot more of a case, I guess, the system rather than overpowering individual quality, which is kind of why I'm with Lewis. I think Chelsea, they have the quality to beat Villareal. And I think against Arsenal, they got quite lucky because Arsenal were one of the worst performances I've seen in Europe. And United were with a shattered Bruno Fernandes and Rashford without Maguire as well. So
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not making subs until the 105th minute. So,
exactly. Yeah. If they weren't already tired, then Ole just done them in. So I think the game's in Chelsea's hands. Yeah,
it's a weird one. I mean, hey, if they want to come at us, all the best to you. Don't think that will go very well for you, Villareal. But hey, good luck trying. Because if we're good at anything, if someone's pressing us, we just play around them, and then all of a sudden we have 3 men on goal. That's how we beat Atletico. That's how we beat Real Madrid. That's how we beat Man City. That's just what we do. So if they want to do that, all the best to them, I think. But ladies and gentlemen, we already have nearly 275 people watching, so that's absolutely brilliant. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, if you want to, if you have any questions, if you have any topics that you really want us to discuss, and you want to make sure that I see it in the chat, do not hesitate to use the super chat function. Of course, you don't have to. You won't have to pay to watch my content, but if you want to and support the channel, you're of course very welcome to. I suppose with that said, let's bring it slowly but surely onto talking about Chelsea. Actually, because I just saw something, let me just bring it up on the share screen thing here, because Maka Sport, Dan McCarthy did say something about a Romelu Lukaku announcement. So let me just share that on screen with you. You should be able to see that in a second anyway. There it is. So that's what he said. Whether you want to believe him or not, I will leave that up to you. But what he said is basically, as you can read on screen, Lukaku announcement, Chelsea ideally want Lukaku to attend the Super Cup final, meaning an announcement prior is ideal. On the other hand, Messi's announcement tomorrow plays into media/marketing influence. Recent travel delays play a part too. CFC's media team are prepped. Well, Lukaku is just a weird one anyway. Like at this point, the story just almost makes no sense anymore to me. Like yesterday, he was meant to be flying to England, right? Turns out he actually flew to Monaco, which is weird. But anyway, he did. Then Fabrizio Romano said, he'll fly basically still to London during the night, while Di Matteo said he has meetings in Monaco and will fly to London basically today, midday afternoon type thing. Well, we now have 6:30 and still no one has said anything about him flying to London. So what on earth he's doing, I don't know. I've said this to Pies on text earlier. Maybe Marina just flew to Monaco and she signed Lukaku and Tchouaméni all at once.
I think that was Roman, because Roman's yacht was found. Pies is the one that posted it on Twitter, to be fair. Roman's yacht.
I tracked his yacht.
Yeah, you're a wild one, you know that, but I have to respect it, man. You've been the one keeping us in track. We've been doing the deadest flight trackers on my streams, but you figured out that he went to Nice and everything. But I think he went to Nice because that's where his agent's HQ is. Am I correct?
So his agent's is in Monaco, and then I don't know why they went to Nice, but it was.
I can tell you, Monaco doesn't have an airport, so you need to fly to Nice, and it's right next to Monaco.
The airport, right? Nice has the airport, and then I think they went to Monaco because it's like 20 minutes or something, right? So
exactly that,
yeah.
So it's always weird. I mean, Monaco is a prestigious place. They don't even have an airport. Go on.
That's why I'm thinking this shit could just be done now, because he's clearly done the paperwork in Monaco. He's gone and done the medical in Milan. He's already been photoed with a Chelsea shirt. And to be honest, for an announcement video, you don't need Lukaku to do too much. Take a few photos with the shirt, maybe take a video yourself with your head coming up slowly. You take a few photos of you in the whole kit and everything, and that's it. The rest, you just do a bunch of fancy graphics, old match footage, just some old Lukaku hype and stuff. But you only need like 5 seconds of new videos and stuff. So really and truly, this announcement is just, we're just waiting on it, but it's all already been done. I don't think there's anything else that we need to wait on.
I mean, you might be right. I'm not 1,000% convinced. Like, when was the last time? Obviously, with Thiago, we did that, but there was still the new pictures when he was actually here. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, but they came afterwards, like a day or two afterwards. Like just Thursday, they can go and get those photos taken.
I will say with this transfer window more than ever. I mean, I know you guys, like, especially you two, Laurenz and Lewis, like this will probably ring true. This transfer window has done my head in terms of a story will pop up by one journalist, and another journalist will come out and saying it's wrong, and another journalist will come out saying that journalist is wrong, and it just feels like no one's writing this, and everyone's trying to go for clicks in a sense. Not you two, like the people who are saying Lukaku's actually here, Lukaku's actually over there.
My title is revealed when Chelsea will sign Lukaku. I've got no idea.
The journalist, because yes, the amount of waffling I heard with the Erling Haaland transfer saga. Literally just months of waffle and recycled news and just the same topics just reworded. The amount of times I went onto the Fabrizio streams, I just heard the same old news that I heard for the last 3 weeks in a row. And then Jan just saying the same thing, take a crazy bid for it to happen. It's like, okay, we know this. Everything was just being recycled and recycled. That was it was drier than the Havertz stuff. Last year, I hated hearing Havertz's name by the end of the summer because people were just recycling news for so long. But at least things were progressing. Haaland, it never progressed, but everyone just acted like it wasn't. It was just jarring.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's not all of them, like, especially Romano as well. It's definitely not attack on Romano because I've seen the behind the scenes that guy.
Attack on anyone, but there was a lot of waffling.
No, I know. That's what I'm about to say. The Romano, like, he does so much work, but there are definitely journalists who are hearing Lukaku to Chelsea and thinking, how can I get as many likes and make as much content off of this as possible? But I think, okay, like with the Haaland thing, it was, he said, recycle news all the time. So I was just looking at this, looking at the fans and thinking, it's just getting the same, like, it's just getting fed different stuff every day. It must be so irritating.
It's also like, even Fabrizio, like, and again, no go at him, but he knows what he needs to do. Like, we spoke about this on a stream yesterday. The man's a superstar, not just any random journalist. Like, the man's got 4 million Twitter followers. Do you know what I mean? And also, he went to like Twitch streaming every day. Obviously, before he streamed every day, he doesn't have to recite the same news. But obviously, if he's streaming every day, he will get asked the same question, so he will have to say the same thing. That's when it comes to like Lewis and myself. If we stream most days, every day, whatever, like last year with Havertz, or like now with Haaland, that's when you have to start repeating things because there is nothing new. But if you talk about it every day, what else are you going to do? So that's the problem.
I just got away with it by saying, because my channel is just we go through all the rumors of the day. So whatever updates there are, we'll just talk about it. Every Haaland update, we just ended up going back to saying, this is the same old shit we already knew. Everyone's so gassed for this stream because Haaland looks like he's close. We'll read through the news and just say, we knew this 2 weeks ago. Why are we getting gassed?
We knew this 4 weeks ago. And we knew this 6 weeks ago.
A month ago. 2 months ago.
Exactly. It's mad. But we have a new member, Bryanson93. Big up yourself. If any of you else want to become a member, there's a join button underneath of your desktop or a link down in the description if you're on your phone. And his comment here was, we have to win a Super Cup tomorrow. We lost it 3 times in a row. Hopefully we break the hoodoo. Apparently some journalists don't know that we actually have won this trophy before, back in 1998, when we last beat Real Madrid before this Champions League campaign, just passed. So we have won the trophy, but last 3 times of asking, obviously, unfortunately, we haven't. So, yeah, let's hope we can break the hoodoo and, get the dub. That would be massive. That would be massive. I've also seen a comment by Cedric, if I can find it again. Haaland saga was dry. Yeah, 100%. 100%. But, we'll get to Lukaku again a little bit more at the end after Alex especially has had to head off. So I suppose we'll get to Chelsea now. Discussing the game tomorrow, obviously, Thomas Tuchel in the press conference has hinted a few things, basically saying in my opinion, potentially an exception. Basically, the players that only just came back, basically the players that played the Euros final or the Copa America final, they're probably not fit to play long enough to start the game, if that makes sense. So we will probably have to do without the likes of Jorginho, Emerson, Thiago Silva, Reece James, Ben Chilwell. Although Chilwell is a different one because Chilwell didn't play at the Euros. So it's like, sure, I know he didn't have a holiday, but really? Well, anyway. And Mason Mount. I do see a chance of Mason Mount just because it's Mason Mount starting and playing an hour and then coming off. But we'll see about that one. Aside from that, we will have to make do with the other players. Of course, if you haven't seen the squad, it's basically the squad from last season plus both Trevor Chalobah and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. They were included. While hilariously, in my opinion, Ross Barkley wasn't even allowed to travel, which I'm a big fan of personally. So hopefully we can manage to get rid of that guy soon. So we can give the number 8 to Mason Mount and, all live happily ever after. I think we can all be very pleased with that. But let me get this little thing up here. So I need to, first of all, get rid of that. But let me put it to you first, Pies. How do you expect Chelsea to approach the game? Obviously, I'm sure you've seen the press conference as well, and maybe potentially the Chelsea TV interview too. Tuchel is very adamant on winning this. It's not like, pre-season game, unlike Jason Cundy in the Chelsea TV, coverage described, if I had to pick one game to win between tomorrow and the Palace game, I'd pick Palace any day of the week. I'm like, yeah, that's because you never won anything. We want to win things. So no, I want to win tomorrow. Like, don't you give me this waffle already here. I don't accept this at all. But how do you see us approaching the game? Is all guns blazing, we want to win this trophy, or do you think there might be a case of it's almost a bit like a community shield, like kind of pre-season but kind of not?
No, there's no element of pre-season in this for me, and I don't think there will be with Tuchel either. I'm just looking at the Chelsea Spurs team because the hint I got from the press conference was that really he was pretty much going to be going with that. Mainly the players that played against Spurs in the first half. That's similar to what the Athletic actually said the other day as well. And then the guys that played behind the closed doors game, like the Jorginho and all of them, like Mount, and that will be more for Palace. But he did say, some of them, or they could technically start and then come off. But I think it's more likely that, a few of them come off the bench if we need them, especially in extra time. I don't think he will start people. I've already just seen as well, Jorginho pulled up with cramps straight away in the training. So
I've just seen that. Yeah, we need to get backup for him quick.
I don't think
we need a midfielder like ASAP, and I find it baffling the fact that we're barely linked to anyone.
Yeah, no, I think Tchouaméni still comes in. It's just come on, we need to get this done quick now. Yeah, get him done, get Kounde in, and then get Tchouaméni
in. I don't think he leaves. From the Monaco's perspective, I think he really enjoys playing under Niko Kovac. I think he'll wait another year, personally.
I've heard rumours saying that because I know Chelsea's agent spoke to Tchouaméni a few weeks ago, but Tchouaméni wants to continue having a lot of game time, and he'd question the amount that he gets at Chelsea. So I get that, but that's why we've also been linked to Boubacar Kamara, and he's only 15 million euros, and I'm thinking we really could be going for him too.
I think as well, Kamara, I would have agreed. I think he would have gone, but at Marseille at the weekend under Sampaoli, they look really together. So I think Kamara might be thinking about it. But I agreed with you, Tchouaméni. I mean, not to spend too long in it, but I was actually thinking someone who Chelsea should go for is Zambo Anguissa from Fulham. He was in the top 10 for no non-winger in the Premier League completing more dribbles per game than Zambo Anguissa, and only about
that's not what we need though. I think what we need is someone to help Jorginho. We already have the dribblers with Kovacic.
Yeah. He was about 8th for tackles, interceptions in the Premier League too. He was doing both.
Okay, so he's capable of either. Then that means he's versatile too. Interesting. I actually haven't thought about that, but I'll do a bit more research into him tonight.
Yeah, just want to throw out.
It's a tough one, but getting to Chelsea and maybe the potential lineup, I suppose, tomorrow. Let me get this up on screen here. I think we probably all agree. I assume you too, Alex, that we will probably turn up in the 3-4-2-1 because that's just what we play. So that's what we're going to go with. I think we can all very much so agree, and I'll put it to you guys individually later too. Mendy will be in goal, right? We know for a fact.
I hope so.
We know Rudiger will play left and back. But now it's where it becomes tricky. I mean, Andreas Christensen played a Euro semi-final. Azpilicueta played a Euro semi-final. The only games they've had so far is that indoor, in-house friendly that we had on Saturday between, basically all of the first team players. So is it Zuma and Tchouaméni? Not Tchouaméni, Chalobah, my bad. Or do we see an Aspi or a Christensen starting here? I think we can all agree Thiago won't, but do we see a chance? Let me go with you first, Lewis. Do we see a chance that it's not Zuma and Chalobah?
If it's not any, I think Chalobah gets rested. Even though, to be honest, I think Chalobah's had the better preseason. I would like to see him get a run out for this game. But I really could see it being the same back three, potentially. Zuma, Chalobah, and Rudiger. But I think if we make any change, Chalobah probably gets benched. And we bring in either we bring in Aspi or we bring in Christensen. I'm not sure about Thiago Silva just because of the age factor, but it would be Aspi or Christensen. If you want leadership, Aspi, but you got Rudiger in there as well. Christensen, like we already know how good of a season he's had. It could be either.
I agree. I wouldn't be surprised personally, I'll put it to you now, Pais, if Aspi does start, just because of the guy Aspi is. Aspi's not the guy to come back from summer holidays and be unfit. Do you know what I mean? There is players that might do that, not Aspi. That's also why I hinted earlier that I think Mount might start. We've seen Mount. Mount has almost done it Bayern Munich. The man's gained like 10 pounds of muscle. It looks mad. Okay, he also looked a bit more, stacked by the end of the season than he did compared to the season before, even the start of the season. So it's not just Bayern Munich who feed their players steroids during the summer break when no one does doping. But, apparently no one understands this and should check Bayern Munich's doping controls. But anyway, that's a discussion for a different day. But oh well. Aspi doesn't look like the guy that will be unfit. So I think Aspi and probably Mount as well are probably fine to start. But, Pais, how do you see it? Who do you think will be the back four or the back three, my bad?
Yeah, again, I'm just kind of going off the Spurs game. I do agree. I think Aspi will come in for Chalobah, but saying that, I really want Chalobah to start. I just feel like Tuchel... it all depends on how much Tuchel trusts him, right? Because I saw Billy Gilmore do an interview like 2 days ago because he went to Norwich, right? And he was talking about like his time under Tuchel, and he said, Tuchel didn't really trust me at the start, but then in the end he said, you've been training really well. I trust you. So Tuchel can trust some of these young guys. I just feel like
I'm not sure if Chalobah has had enough time to think that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he will go with a safe route and go with the back line you've actually put there with Rudiger, Zuma and Aspi. I don't think two will come in. I just think it'll be the one replacement. But yeah, I would love to see Chalobah play. I have no doubts that he could definitely do a job since, to be honest, I don't really get the feeling we will have to do a whole lot of defending, but I feel like Aspi will definitely come in just because he's so durable. Like you guys said, I mean, he doesn't need a massive rest. He's been doing this consistently for 7-8 years now. So yeah, he's missed like how many games has he missed? Like was it like 5 or something like that? I think someone said. So
and also he didn't start and play every game for Spain either, which you got to consider him up.
Yeah, exactly. Like he didn't play every game. So I mean, if you can count on someone, then for sure, as Tuchel said, these guys will, if they do start, they'll probably come off anyway. So I'm sure he'll have a plan in his head as to sort of time management. But yeah, I think Aspi will be the one that he goes to.
Yeah, I reckon so as well. And I mean, I saw someone in the chat saying Zuma is central centre back. Well, I mean, that's why he played when we beat Atletico Madrid. So it's not like this has never happened before. Personally, I actually think Zuma is less of a liability in the middle than he is on the side. I know defensively that's the more important role. But defensively is where Zuma is acceptable, is with the ball in trying to help us open the play is where he struggles. And that's where he struggles more when he has more responsibility in that sense as one of the wide centre-backs. So that's why I mind him less in the middle than I mind him on the side. And again, I mind him less on the right than I mind him on the left because he just doesn't own the left foot and his passing is not good enough to like make up for it when he's playing on his wrong side, if that makes sense. And also, obviously, we guys, let me show you what I mean. Obviously, our wide centre backs are often very aggressive to push up here to make sure that we attack early or, well, defend early and high, I suppose. And he often overdoes it and then gets caught and really has the pace to make up for it, but Zuma doesn't. So that's why I don't like Zuma out wide and in the middle. He can do a job. I mean, as much as we maybe don't want Zuma, I get that. People don't want to see him play. But what are you going to do? You're going to start Thiago Silva, who's nearly 37 and just played a Copa America final. Or or Christensen, who, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he come off injured against England? Or was it the game before? Where came
Yeah, England.
Exactly. So a guy that injured himself the last time he played football, like you don't want to overdo it with these types of players. Do you know what I mean? So that's why.
As well, Laurenz, can I just mention as well, like what will be important is we can debate all we want, but Tuchel did say that he would ask them like later on who's sort of up for it kind of thing, like who's, he's going to give the trust to the players as much as obviously he's going to go with his instinct, but he did say he's going to ask around and the players that came back late. So I don't think anything's like dead set, but I think the back three we currently have is probably the most likely.
Yeah, I was just going to say as well, I mean, Lawrence, by the way, explained that perfectly about Zuma. I didn't even think of it like that. I'm someone who's Zuma out. But two things as well. It's good to not start Thiago Silva against a Villarreal team who, above anything else, are not going to be scared about 2 foot in Zuma, 2 foot in Thiago Silva. Very scrappy. And also, just a quick note on Chalobah. Even if he doesn't start this game, watch him for the future. Because in France, he played at centre mid, CDM, and centre back as the season went on. He's a prime Tuchel player. I expect him to play for Chelsea in the future.
Yeah, Tuchel's already told the club specifically not to sell him next season, but he wants him to go out on loan anyway to have a development. So he does seem like he trusts him, and there does seem like a potential pathway into the team for him too, because he's been the only young player that's consistently played through preseason, and he's actually been one of our best players in preseason too. He's a very impressive in defence.
Yeah,
he's played in the middle and on the left. I think he's played on the right too.
Yeah, he was a huge reason why Laurenz stayed up in Ligue 1. I was really impressed by him.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, at this point, Ligue 1 is not the Farmers League anymore because now La Liga is the Farmers League. So, we
need a DM, innit? So if we don't end up getting one, we'll give Trevor Chalobah a run.
Exactly. But I do have to say one thing before we get into the wing backs. We have more than 500 people watching, which is brilliant. But we only have 117 likes. That is outrageous. So go down below, smash the like button right now. Doesn't cost you any money, barely cost you any time. It really helps me out. So just click that like button. Let's get to at least 200 right now. To be honest, we should get to at least 300 right now, considering we have 500 people watching. So go down below. Please honestly do smash the like button. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. But let's get to those wing backs. Let's get to the depressing one first. Let's get it out of the way. Alonso will start here. I see it as very unlikely that he starts Chilwell out of nowhere. And I mean, Babarama didn't travel, and Emerson is equally as unlikely, I suppose, as Chilwell, or even more so because he never plays anyway. I would love it if Chile could start, but you can't have too many that will force to be come off. That's my only problem with Aspie. Can he do more than an hour? And it's never ideal to change centre-backs. Maybe he'll bring Christensen on for the last half hour then. Maybe that's how he's planning on going through it. I don't know. But Lewis, Pice, Alex, do you all agree that Alonso will be a left wing back?
Yeah.
Hope not.
Yes. Because Chilwell... Oh, no, but he hasn't been back in time anyway. Because I was going to say, he didn't have a lot of game time through the Euros, but...
He didn't have a single second of game time, so...
Oh, yeah, he actually didn't play a full minute, but he still had 3 weeks off. He still needs to get match fit, so maybe not. But Chilwell might be a surprise, but probably Alonso.
Chilwell might be a surprise. Chilwell is one that I'm hoping for, but that I still see as unlikely. But Pice, I think you said you don't think it will be Alonso. Do you think it will be Chile?
No, I said I hope not. I hope it's not going to be Alonso, but I feel like it will be. But as you said there, I feel like that could be one of the surprises where Chilwell starts and then comes off at like 60, 70 minutes and Alonso, then plays 20 or extra time if it's going extra time. I do have a little feeling about that. I don't know why. I've just got a gut feeling that might happen. Yeah,
it's a tough one, isn't it? It's that's one that still frustrates me. I'm happy if we sign Kounde. I think he's a good player that, especially as a right centre back, could be incredibly useful for us. But I think we need a backup left wing back way more than we need a centre back. I'd personally be okay with Emerson, but clearly none of our managers like Emerson for some weird reason to me. But Alonso cannot anymore be our backup left back. That is unacceptable. We can't have it that once we don't start Chilwell, we have the worst player in Premier League history. It's unacceptable. I know people take the piss and Alonso, he scored a free kick against Spurs. I don't care. The man's slower than Manan. Do you know what I mean? Nah.
Someone said it, isn't it?
In fairness, I swear the last time I was on here and we were battering Alonso, it's before you played Atletico and he had a really good game.
I remember that.
Good game. That doesn't make him not a liability.
Yeah, no, I agree.
To be honest, no, he's very good against low blocks, and this is the sort of game that he's going to face. So we might see a good Alonso in this match, to be honest. I'd put money on it.
Hey,
this sort of game would suit him.
Maybe he just turns up. Who has turned up here?
Just another Pies.
I just turned up twice. So sorry. All good, all good. I think Pice internet cut out, and then for a second he was here with 2 accounts. Anyway, and I think because it's probably unlikely that Reece starts, and because Hudson-Odoi has played every game as wingback in pre-season, I think the likelihood is that Hudson-Odoi starts here. Let me make it show because that's a bit long. Do we agree? Hudson-Odoi right wingback probably, especially with how Villarreal plays, probably not a bad thing anyway.
Yeah, I'm with that. He'll be against Alberto Moreno. That's a very good battle.
That would be a very funny battle, that would. But, yeah, I mean, I want Hudson-Odoi to be used more full stop. He's not going to be used that much more in the front three. So just give him more game time at right wing back, and he will get better and better at right wing back. And he'll be a good option to have when we play low blocks. And when Reece James potentially needs a rest, or when Reece James, if we don't sign a midfielder, needs to be used in midfield, whatever. So I don't have many problems with playing Hudson-Odoi there. Pies, what about you?
Yeah, as Alex said, Alberto Moreno is very poor defensively, so I think get at him 1v1 dribbling. Yeah, for sure. I think he can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, they're very good. Lewis, you as well? Hudson-Odoi, yeah?
For right wing back, yeah. Like your expert said it perfectly about the 1v1s. Plus, I don't think Reece James is going to be played there just yet. And Aspie right wing back wouldn't give us a lot going forward. So for me, it had to be Charles.
Also, right wing back is more running for Aspie, so he's probably better to play right centre back anyway, if that makes sense. But getting to the midfielders, that's I think the most, maybe not the most obvious, but very obvious who's going to play here. I mean, especially with after what Tuchel said in the press conference, it's going to be Kante and Kovacic. As much as I love Ruben, he's not going to start him there in a European final as a 6. Not going to happen. And Jorginho came back the latest of the 3 of them. So I think this is very set on. Maybe Jorginho comes on for one of them later on, just to not overdo it for any of them. Maybe even Ruben comes on, depending on the scoreline at the time. But I think it's almost set in stone for me that these 2 are the ones that start. If anyone has any objections, please do hit. But yeah, I think,
just to say, the official Chelsea website has announced Lukaku without announcing Lukaku. Look at this. Look at the software post on it. You know how the official app always says like rumors and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a shit you see on West Ham.
Oh, Lukaku's a Chelsea player, guys. They always do this thing where they talk about our own rumors and stuff. Like I think they did an article saying De Ligt is rumored to be joining Chelsea. I think today or something like that.
Yeah, that's the media watch, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Not what I wanted to say. Chester said here, Georgia will come on for Kante in the 60th minute, and that will then be the pivot for, well, he said Sunday, he means Saturday against Palace. Is likely because Georgia and Kante is our most used double pivot under Tuchel. So it doesn't make sense to me, but I suppose we'll have to wait and see. I know Lewis needs to head off in a couple of minutes, hence why I just want to get through the lineup so we get that done. Because then we get to some extent, the most difficult part of the team, but to some extent not, if that makes sense. I think we can all very much so agree that Havertz starts here, right?
I agree.
Yes. Yeah, Havertz starts.
Yeah, he will start,
Yeah, and he will also be the most forward of the 3, presumably. I think as much as I'm never a fan of it, especially against a defensive team, let's be honest, he will be Werner. Once Lukaku is in, I'm hoping that Werner doesn't start every game anymore. But until Lukaku is here and ready to start and play, Werner is still starting. I mean, obviously maybe Pulisic, but Pulisic didn't even start against Tottenham.
I know you're trying to get through the lineup, but I think when Lukaku comes in, that brings the best out of Werner. I think he's going to have the defenders are going to play a percentage less of attention to him. I think the one thing about Werner was awful was when he got doubled up inside the box. I think Lukaku coming in means he can same with Lautaro Martinez. I think that means his output goes a lot higher up.
That could be
true. I
can
see that too.
But that tells you that means one of Mount or Havertz is dropped.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
which
by that logic, happen, I think if Tuchel has a brain, and I think he does have a brain, surely you don't drop Mount or Havertz for Werner. Even if Lukaku makes Werner better, doesn't he make Mount and Werner and Havertz even more better?
I don't know. I just think it's something to consider. It'll be interesting. I think he'll make everyone better, but it'll be see what he does with Werner.
It will be, and I'm still confident that he'll be played, especially against teams that that play a high line, that are aggressive, Liverpool and Man City, the top teams, like in Europe as well. I think he will definitely play in those games. But I think against the low blocks, against the Crystal Palace, although who knows how exactly they're going to play under Patrick Vieira. I'll try to find out by Friday before we do a preview for that game.
They're quite attacking, aren't they? I think.
I honestly have no idea yet. So maybe they are. But in general, against low blocks, I just wouldn't want to see Werner anywhere near our starting 11, if I'm honest. But do we agree that he'll start tomorrow? Pice, let me go with you first.
Yeah, I feel like he will, but I really want Pulisic to play out on the left because he's just a better dribbler, to be honest. But I think Werner will probably start on the left.
And Lewis, for you, obviously, I mean, we'll get to the last position in a second, but Pulisic on the left for you, or is it just going to be Werner?
To be honest, Pulisic's had more of a preseason, so I wouldn't be surprised if he plays. But if we're trying to play close to the Palace game, I could see Timo Werner start. Could be either or. But I think not Mason Mount. It could be Werner and Pulisic, to be fair.
It could be.
I think Ziyech is 100% nailed on to start for me. 100%, 1,000%, even. Yeah.
I mean, I also think that Ziyech was. I also think it's more between Pulisic and Werner. But just judging off the Tottenham game and who started that, the Pulisic didn't start that, even though he was here from day one of preseason, is an awful sign for Christian Pulisic.
I will say, I think Pulisic might be better against this defense because, as I've said a couple of times, the defense is not very good 1v1. However, Villareal have proven all of last season, especially in pre-season, that, like, as I said, they're ready to get stuck in. And I would think twice about putting the most injury-prone player on the planet against this team. You know,
actually, that's a fair
Porter
shout.
away.
Oh yeah, Ziyech. Yeah, Ziyech will start. How'd I forget about Ziyech?
I mean, that is, to some extent, maybe all well and good, but Pulisic will still not be happy. And I think if Pulisic doesn't start here, if Pulisic doesn't start Palace, don't be surprised if by the end of August you have Pulisic handing in a transfer request. Not because I dislike him, but because the man wants to start. And he can't even start preseason games at this point, even though he was here from day one. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Werner doesn't start, he only came back fairly recently. You can accept that. Pulisic was here from day one of preseason. If he doesn't start tomorrow, and the fact that he didn't start Tottenham, in my opinion, is incredibly worrying, and I don't know what he does in...
Then maybe he takes Werner's spot, because I could see that as well. I could see either or.
I think against Villareal, he would make more sense against than Werner. Just the injury return. Yeah,
I know. Lewis, thank you for coming on. Everyone subscribe to Lewis. Link is down in the description. We'll keep going for a little bit longer.
Laurenz's channel as well, man. 600, you guys. That better be 600 likes. Big up all you guys. Bless. Take care, all right?
Take care, man.
See you, Lewis.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much the team. Don't worry, guys. Me and Alex also needs to head off in just a second. Myself and Pice will discuss a little bit more of the Lukaku situation before we round it out here. But I think that's most likely. I know I put Werner/Pulisic here just because I'm so not sure. I just really badly wanted to be Pulisic for his sake, but also because I prefer him as a player. And so, you know, that's just how I view it. But I think that team can do well against Villarreal. It will just be about... And I'll ask you this first now, Alex, because I know you need to head off. But actually, let me go with you first, Pice. Then I'll ask you, Alex, and then you head off. Pice, who is the most important player that's most decisive in whether we win or not?
Sorry, bro, I didn't catch you there. What did you say?
Out of this 11 or 12 that we presume will play, who do you think is the most important player or the most decisive player in terms of whether we win or not?
Oh, that's difficult. I've got two. I think it's either going to be Ziyech or Havertz. I've got reasons for both. I just believe if Ziyech's on his game in terms of creativity, then 100% he's the decisive factor. But at the same time, if Ziyech and Werner, let's just say it will be Werner, if Ziyech and Werner are not on their game, I feel like Havertz is a superstar talent. So I feel like he can grab the game by the scruff of his neck, you know, kind of score a goal or something like that, you know, scrappy ball in the box or something, latches onto it. He's got good movement, good runs. So, yeah, I think it'll be one of those two, to be honest.
Fair enough. And Alex, as the last question to you of the day, who do you think will be the most decisive player for Chelsea? You can also pick two if you want to.
I've got a clue. I think Pice's suggestions are actually pretty spot on as well. But just to spruce up and different one. I think Hudson-Odoi. I think one against Alberto Moreno, 1v1, we've mentioned. He should roast that. But also Hudson-Odoi was, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I think he was Chelsea's most penetrative player last season in terms of getting the ball into the box, carrying it and passing it in and crossing
Obviously,
it in.
he had much more limited minutes. So, you know, it's always stats always a little bit skewed, but if you have drastically less minutes. But yeah, no, stats-wise, yeah, he was.
Yeah, I think eye test as well shows he's very good at taking a man 1v1. So if Villarreal plan to sit back, getting the ball inside that box will be key. And if Hudson-Odoi is going to be the man to do that, I think that will be most important thing. And finally, I thought you were going to ask a score prediction, but I'll just say I think it'll be 2-1 Chelsea.
That'd be good. All I really need that it doesn't go to extra time, because that's about the last thing we need to play Premier League on Saturday. Like, just leave me alone with some extra time. The fact that they even do extra time in this, like, come on, just surely this is the type of game where you scrap extra time, and if it is a draw after 90 minutes, you go straight to pens. Like, surely, like, save the players a little bit. Come on, UEFA.
And we've seen too much extra time over the past 2 months. I don't want any more.
First of all, that no, but genuinely, I just mean for the health of the players. Like, they haven't had long, and to put them into a game where they could have extra time, which everybody knows, footballers are usually ready for 90, but those extra 30 minutes, they can play a big reason into a lot of muscle injuries. So I think it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? Just
asking too
reckless
much
from UEFA to allow it personally. But I agree with Alex. I was going to say Hudson-Odoi, just because I think the way again, I'm not an expert on Villarreal by any means, but the way I expect them to play, I think Hudson-Odoi can be the key to properly unlocking them and unlocking also the other front players. Well, if Hudson-Odoi struggles, I think the other ones will struggle as well. So I think it will be a case of Hudson-Odoi and Havertz, if that makes sense. Pais did just get kicked out. I'm sure he will be back. There he is. So with this said, Alex, I do appreciate you joining us massively. I hope you guys enjoyed Alex's insight onto Villarreal. Hopefully his score prediction will come true. Myself and Pais will give one in just a minute. But yeah, Alex, thank you for coming. Check out his YouTube channel, obviously called You're an Expert. The link is down in the description. It's just the @HitYou'reExpert. Does lovely content. I think one day you should just do like a parody of, you should learn the Ed Sheeran accent and then just talk about football while sounding like Ed Sheeran. That'd be brilliant. You should talk about Ipswich especially now.
You know what? I might have to do it. Thank you very much. But yeah, thank you for the shout out. Can't wait to be back on the channel as well, man. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
So, Pais, here we are. It's almost like we're back in our natural habitat. First of all, what's going on with Lukaku? Like, what are we doing? Why on earth has everyone said yesterday he's flying over tomorrow and he still hasn't? Do you back the theory of Lewis, where it's a case of maybe it's just all being done there and he's flying straight to the Super Cup if what Dan McCarthy said earlier is true? Or what do you think is going on right now?
I think I need to know what's going on with my internet today, to be honest. No, but in terms of Lukaku, hopefully I don't freeze out again. Yeah, it's kind of weird. The one person I do really trust is, I'm going to butcher his name, is Christophe Terreur, I think his name is, the Belgian journalist. Like, he's kind of been trolling Chelsea fans on Twitter all day. People have been like, where is he? And he's been posting like the picture of like the where's Wally and all that, like trying to find that comedy thing. But he did say like let me get it up. He did basically say he's currently in France and there's no one in London to pick up the parcel or something like that, to pick up the delivery, because he said like that obviously that basically implying that everyone's gone to Belfast basically, and there's no one important in London left. That's what he said. So yeah, he said to relax. So I feel like he still is in France probably somewhere. The thing is though, I don't get it, because Tuchel wanted him to travel to Belfast. So whether or not he's flying over there, but then that would mean we would have to announce it tonight or before the game tomorrow. But
I mean, I sent you that tweet earlier. What I tweeted yesterday is I think it will be announced tomorrow afternoon. But when I said that, I presumed, when I said that, I presumed that Messi would be announced today, because obviously we all heard that they rented out Eiffel Tower today on the 10th, not tomorrow. So that's why I assumed they would get. I still think there is a chance they get Messi done today, because imagine the Messi stuff at night with the Eiffel Tower lit up and everything. Surely in terms of how great it looks, that will be even sicker than tomorrow. But everyone seems to, at this point, know it's going to be tomorrow. So that's why tomorrow is obviously a bit of an L, I guess. But to me, it's just, if he comes in late, like he didn't travel with the squad, at this point, what's the point of him being in Belfast? Like if he was here, like say this morning and traveled to Belfast with the team, I can see the logic in that. I can see the sense in that, already some bonding and stuff going on. That would be good. But if he only turns up by himself late and then the team is doing preparations and he has nothing to do with it, I feel like what's the point?
It makes no sense. And then in that case, we'd probably have to wait until Thursday, which would be when they're back. And then you could announce it then when it's away from the whole Messi thing and that. But I feel like they've got everything prepared. It's just obviously he's still got to sign the contract, right? Like he has to go and meet Marina to sign the contract and the executive. So, I mean, an announcement's obviously not imminent because the one thing I will say about announcements is the journalists and stuff, they get told, because I always remember that when an announcement's coming up, they all sort of tease it, you know what I mean? And it's like,
because they need to be ready. Like they need to be ready to release everything. So that's why they know a little bit earlier.
So it's obviously not imminent because it's 7:00 now tonight in the UK. So nothing's going to happen tonight. Tomorrow,
I think
it can happen.
As much as I love Dan and I like him personally, but this is not something I know. This is just the feeling and what makes most. I think we'll just do it Thursday at this point.
I do too because, I mean, Thursday's a weird day. I don't know. It just kind of feels weird to have it on a Thursday, but I just feel like it makes the most sense because then he can sort of, Thursday morning or something like that. Maybe he flies in Wednesday night or whenever they get back, or Thursday morning, and then he trains with the team, and then we can announce it.
Or then we announce it just before the first. Obviously, there's no proper training on Thursday in terms of it's more like a little bit of recovery rather than actual training the day after the game.
He could do a little one-to-one training kind of thing, and then kind of sit with a group. That would make more sense. But then again,
and then train on Friday with the squad, and then be involved on Saturday from the bench.
But then again, the guy that reported the hole that Tuchel wants him there to bond was Jason Burt from the Telegraph, who is very, very reliable. So I don't know where he's got that information from. It's just weird. And the updates that we're getting are very little. We've had no update today where Lukaku is, apart from Christophe Tureau, who's basically hinting that he's still in France. But,
which is weird because Monaco isn't even in France. So is he in Monaco or is he in France?
It's just gone so quiet. I don't know what's happening, but we'll find out more eventually. I think it will just be a case of, we look on Twitter one time and everyone's saying, "Oh, he's there, he's there." You know what I mean? But Fabrizio said, there's nothing wrong with the transfer. He's just kind of
he's coming.
Isn't it?
I haven't even considered that. Maybe some people are saying, worried that it's not happening. Don't worry, Lukaku will sign for Chelsea. Whether it's tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, whenever, he will come to Chelsea.
He's had his medical. He's done everything apart from sign the contract. He's had his medical.
He might have even signed the contract. He might, because obviously. You know how when they take the picture with Marina, they don't actually sign the contract. They just do that to,
But then,
do the
if that's the case, then we would have announced him today, in my opinion. Or, I'm surprised they've not even done we've agreed a deal in principle kind of tweet. You know what I mean? There's been nothing. Literally silence from the club.
That is true. They could have done the whole we've agreed a deal and then announce him Thursday and everyone knows it type of thing. But to me personally, ever since it wasn't announced last night and I knew he wasn't going to be involved in the Super Cup in terms of playing, I don't really care whether it's tonight, tomorrow, or Thursday. It makes no difference to me, if I'm being totally honest with you. Now I'm focusing on the game tomorrow anyway. So
I would just like some more updates, though. I don't care when it is. I would just like to be kept updated on what's happening because I just hate in general when there's silence. That's why I was getting so stressed about the transfer window because it was so silent. Then all of a sudden, bang! The Lukaku thing popped up. It was like a big boom. You know what I mean?
It was big madness, wasn't it? All of a sudden, was it Simon Johnson that first said that we've had 2 bids rejected? Was that the first story?
I saw that and I thought, what the hell is going on here? Why are they bidding for someone that's staying? And then Matt Law came back from holiday and dropped the bombshell that now he's up to number 1. And I was like, here we go, kind of thing. This is gonna kick off now. And then it all sort of got done in 5-10 days. So yeah.
I do want to say before I want to quickly touch on Tammy for a second with you before we round it out here. But also I do want to say one thing, and I don't want to have a go at any in the nose, but I do find it a bit funny that people that said in June we're after Lukaku now saying, "See, I told you."
Yeah, well done.
The one thing doesn't stop the but you also said 3 weeks ago that there's this for Haaland and that for Haaland. So you can't claim that because you said that in June, you was right all along when you said some completely different things between that. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Everyone's told different stories. and that's absolutely fine. But don't beat yourself up for saying something in June when in June it wasn't even fully true. So.
Bro, like if they were real I2Ks and stuff, they would have known about this Sasa Kalajic guy, the interest before the Athletic reported it. Like those are the proper in the knows. Like they know what's going on behind the scenes, like the Athletic do.
I still feel like the Athletic and Matt Law and all of these people, the Sasha Kalai, I still cannot believe that. Like he's Austrian, and having watched him, like he is a good player, right?
I would never.
Sorry.
I saw something yesterday, Laurenz, about that we now want him for the kind of Giroud role.
Yeah, no, I saw that too, and then I'm like, okay, then we can talk. I don't mind that just because he's Austrian. But in terms of if you asked me that like last week, or say before the Euros, or even after the Euros, could you ever see Sasha Kalajdzic being good enough and playing for Chelsea? I would have said no, just because I don't see him as, I don't know. But maybe it's also because he's Austrian that I would never see it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
It's a tough one. What? No. I'm good friends with both of them. I talked to CFC News page. I was picking him up the other day when Fabrizio commented under his post. And you've seen Dan McCarthy and Michelle multiple times. So I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't mean them two specifically at all. CFC News page might have picked himself up, to be fair. So I will tell him that privately as well. I don't know if Maka has done. But it was just more aimed at everybody that's now saying, but look at what I said then. I'm like, I mean, sure, but that's not the point. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, no need to pick yourself up. But I get it. People get a lot of hate, especially when they do in the know stuff. So they just want to rectify themselves, I suppose. But I guess the last thing before we get into our own score predictions, Pies, is the whole Tammy to Roma stuff. Obviously, myself, Con, and Dammy spoke about yesterday already when it kind of came out initially. AS Roma seemed to be seriously considering signing Tammy Abraham with the news this morning coming out by, who was it? Was it Fabrizio? Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was Demartio.
Demartio it was, there you go. Well, basically, it's undecided yet whether it's going to be a loan and then they have an obligation to buy, or whether it's going to be like just paying in installments, and the installments are 5 million euros now and then either 35 or 40 million next year. But regardless of how it goes, because we're not desperate for money, so I don't really care whether we get it all now or whether we get some of it next summer. Like, we sold Morata, and then we only got the money 18 months later. So, But I'd be a big fan of that. I find it weird that Jose Mourinho wants Tammy Abraham. I find that very odd. And I would have much preferred to see him at Atalanta, just because I think that would have been better for Tammy himself. But if he agrees to that, I'm very happy for him. I don't need to see him at Arsenal. He can go to a different league. I can watch, a Chelsea homegrown player there and hope he does well and stuff. So I'd be very excited if that happens. And I think the money is very good as well. I never expected any of the Italian clubs to fork out that kind of money for Tammy Abraham. I can't lie.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one for me. I kind of was excited / not excited, because I still feel like he will reject the move. I really feel like he wants Arsenal. But at the end of the day, I mean, Chelsea do somewhat decide to extent where he goes. I mean, the player does have power, obviously. He can just refuse a move like Zuma did to West Ham and that. But
although apparently that's back on now. Did you see?
Yeah, it's kind of apparently back on, according to the ex guy. But we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, Tammy to Rome is just a bit of a weird one for me. I thought everyone's like, oh, he's going to do so good under Jose, but Jose is not the same manager anymore. Like, maybe he'll improve him. I don't know. I don't really see Jose lasting long there either. So then, I just see it. It's just a bit of a weird move for me, to be honest, Laurenz. I don't really understand it, but fair enough if he wants to go there. I don't know. The rumours that we don't want to sell him to the Premier Leagues and that, I don't really believe either, because I just feel like we'd have an even bigger price tag on him if we really believed he was going to be that good. So I do feel like eventually he'll go to Arsenal, to be honest, but that depends if they get rid of Lacazette.
Yeah, that is very true. I just did that. There it is. I just want to show you guys the Tammy thing on screen. Give me just half a second and I'll show you, and then we'll leave it there. I did actually want to talk about the new VAR rulings, which I find extremely awful, but we're not going to have time to go through all of that today, because that's kind of going to be a little bit of a discussion. But yeah, this is basically what Demartio said. I'm just showing you by Absolute Chelsea. Shout out to them, by the way. AS Roma and Chelsea have reached...
tweet up, bro.
Sorry?
I'm disappointed in you. You didn't pull my tweet up.
I didn't even see your tweet. Let me go to CFCPys' tweet.
You got to use me, bro. I'm on the stream.
I honestly had no idea. Shout out to a few people that showed up here.
I'm joking. You can use
No.
me.
I'm doing it now. I'm doing it.
You might
Shout
have
out
to
to
scroll down
Pice.
a bit.
Follow him. See, that's a sick picture. Big up Pice.
Yeah, bro. You guys need to watch that if you haven't. It's hilarious.
It is, especially when in German, before that starts, they take the piss out of the journalist's hair for some reason, which I don't know why, but so. But where is it then?
It's keep scrolling.
No, it can't be longer than that. It's 20 hours. The time was this morning.
It's last night. Go down.
Was it last night?
It's not that one. There, yeah.
There you go. Chelsea and Roma have tonight reached an agreement for Tammy Abraham. Roma will pay Chelsea $5 million immediately, and then 35 to 40 million over following seasons. Payment structure will still to be sorted. Decision left with the player if he wants to join Roma or not. Like I said, there was apparently some talk. It might be like a loan with then an obligation next year, or it might be a permanent deal straight away, just with paid in these installments. Doesn't really make a difference. It's the same thing regardless. So, I mean, I get what you were saying about Tammy there, but to me, it still makes sense. If he accepts the deal. But I think in terms of club, and also, I don't know how players think about Jose, but I feel like to Tammy, just because of how I view Tammy, I think Roma might be more appealing. Like it's a huge city, it's a nice city, it's more of a city life type thing than Atalanta. Bergamo, it's a small place. Obviously, it's close to Milan, Atalanta, or Bergamo, it's fine. But do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's a good move, and I'd be happy for him. And
Tomori's there as well, right? Like, it's not too far. He could go and see Tomori and chill out. They're good friends.
That's true. He would have that with Bergamo because obviously it's super close to Milan. Rome is a bit further, or quite a bit further. But Master Yoda saying that's in euros, not pounds. He would easily get 35, 40 million in a Prem. Yeah, and here we might get 45 million euros, which is pretty much 40 million pounds. So you're not far off there. Like if we get 45 million euros altogether, we're very well off. And also, you say that like that, Master Yoda. If we would have gotten that type of money so easily for Tammy, I think we would have sold him a while ago already, personally. And we might have just sold him before Giroud. But because the Tammy one proved a bit more difficult, we got rid of Giroud and kept Tammy until we had Lukaku sorted and potentially another backup striker. So that's how I see it. But hey, it's a difficult one. But I think, Pice, we're going to round it out here. I need to actually talk to you off air, but I'll see you tomorrow for player ratings of the Super Cup, because that's what's happening tomorrow. I know we spoke about Lukaku and Tammy and stuff for a while now, but the season is finally back, and I'm incredibly excited. Finally, some real football to talk about, not some preseason waffle. Pies knows this. I don't like preseason. It annoys me. So I'm excited to have, proper football back. I'm excited. Hopefully Chelsea can get the dub. Hopefully we can start the season with a trophy. Hopefully we can do, a real big one and collect some more trophies in terms of, collect a good number of trophies. Super Cup now, Club World Cup, We need it. We need it, especially the Club World Cup, because we genuinely haven't won that before. But tomorrow, Super Cup, let's get it done. Score prediction, I'm going to actually agree with Alex, as boring as that may be, and I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea, just because we haven't kept the clean sheet in pre-season, so I don't think we're going to start there tomorrow, to be honest, until we have our full defence back. But Pice, what's your score prediction?
2-0 Chelsea. Kounde, man of the match. Always in European finals, the guy is going to have another masterclass.
Hey, I'll back it. My bro. 2-0, 2-1, whatever. All that matters, in my opinion, is that Chelsea get it up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. We still have over 400 people, which is absolutely massive. So if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers, and every single new subscriber counts. So even if you think, well, it's still going to be miles off, it doesn't matter. Just click the subscribe button, and more people will be like you, and eventually we'll get there. So please do hit that big red subscribe button. It means the world to me. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Become a member if you fancy. There's a join button underneath if you're on desktop, or a link down in the description. If you're on your phone, obviously helps out the channel drastically. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and I'll see you when I can find the scroll to this next time.